Hi, I'm Serena.
I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Lily.
And our biodiversity project is on flatworms. Some distinguishing characteristics of flatworms include they have a soft and elongated body as well as a flattened body. As you can tell in this picture, they have a triangular head, which causes their eyes to give off the cross-eyed appearance as it does here. They're bilaterally symmetrical, which means if you cut it in half, it would be the halves would be the same. So you can tell with like a line of symmetry down there that each side would be the same. And they have an acclimate body cavity. They can vary in color. So like this one, it is more opaque and transparent with the brown and the yellows. They can also be bright colors or more opaque and light colors. They have 0 bones in their bodies, as you can tell in the picture. And then right here, they have a single opening into its stomach, which is in the middle of its underside. And they're invertebrates, which means they have no backbone.
Okay, so next are the 3 subgroups of flatworms. So the first subgroup is planarians. They have a flat body, which you can tell right here. It's very flat looking. They can regrow parts. Most of them are night feeders. They eat tiny snails, water fleas, and other small worms. They live in freshwater rivers, under rocks, leaves, and in aquatic vegetation. And then I mentioned before in the last slide that they eat different things like water fleas, small worms, and snails. So this thing right here that's transparent looking, it is a water flea. And this thing right here, it's an earthworm. And then this one is a snail. Some fun facts of planarians. Their mouth is actually located at the middle of their body. They were almost the animal model that defined genetics in the 20th century. Planarians are capable of learning, and upon decapitation, the bodies with newly regenerated heads will remember what they learned. And Charles Darwin actually studied planarians. Next are flukes. Flukes are parasites. They are shaped like a leaf. And in this picture of a fluke, you can tell it's shaped like a leaf, to use this picture up here as a comparison. They are flat and flabby. They feed off of blood, and they live in the liver of infected people and animals. So one thing that they live inside of are the livers of infected people. And here is just 2 different pictures of a liver and a human body. One fun fact about flukes is how they live in the infected liver of animals, and one of the animals that they mostly live inside of are cows. So I'll read off the whole process. So the adult liver fluke in the liver of its host produces eggs, which pass on to the pasture. These eggs hatch in warm, damp conditions to produce a mobile larva, which then infect a particular species of snail. The larvae multiply within the snail and develop into another swimming stage, which emerge from the snail and settle on the pasture. These then develop into a highly tolerant, non-mobile stage that can survive for at least a year. Once eaten by the cow, these hatch and migrate to the liver. So this picture right here is what I basically just all described. They mentioned the snail right here, and here is the cow. So it's basically just the life cycle of a liver fluke and how it gets into a cow. Next are tapeworms. So tapeworms are bilaterally symmetrical, so meaning the right and left sides are similar. So just like the flatworms, if I were to cut this in half, both sides would be the same. They are parasites also. They have hooks and a neck. So on this picture right here, up above, those little spiky things, those are the hooks. And then right here is the neck. They have 4 suckers in their head. So here's one, there's one right there, and behind it is another one. And then they can live in human intestines, and they feed off of food being digested. So fun facts of tapeworms. You get tapeworms by eating undercooked food from animals with tapeworms in their flesh. Tapeworms grow inside your intestines. Doctors check your stool for tapeworm eggs, and worm pills usually kill tapeworms. And then this picture is basically an intestine and food being digested. So in the first slide, I mentioned that that's what tapeworms eat, is the digested food. So this picture is basically a picture of the digested food that they eat.
Next is their evolutionary history, and not much of their evolutionary history is known because their soft bodies do not preserve into fossils. Flatworms are the first to have bilateral symmetry, so meaning that it goes down the middle and it being the same on both sides. The bilateral symmetry was a critical step in the development of other organisms being able to organize their bodies. Flatworms came about around 545 million years ago, and they were the first animal to hunt, as well as the first animal to develop a nervous system that included a head and brain. There have been about 25,000 species that have been evolved and can be classified into the three subgroups, like mentioned before, the planarians, flukes, and tapeworms, and they evolved from a worm-like creature of the size of about a grain of rice. Next, we have their ecological significance, and that includes that they are mostly found on the surfaces and undersides of rocks in slow-moving water. Most freshwater flatworms are tolerant of polluted conditions, and they feed on bacteria, snails, clams, and protozoa, which you can see here. Here's some bacteria, here's the protozoa, here are the clams, and then down here we have a flatworm.
And next we have the topics of interest. So some fun facts are flatworms can actually reproduce sexually and asexually, so they are able to produce with or without a mate. They are given both of those parts. And they are able to reproduce without offspring without one. Select species of flatworms actually have light-sensitive organs, also known as ocelli. This allows them to detect and respond to changes in light and navigate their surroundings. So this can help them hide from predators, seek prey, as well as be able to see in their habitat at night or maybe early in the morning. Flatworms can actually vary in color, so like I said before, they can be more transparent or opaque, like the browns, yellows, and light greens, or they can range in bright and vibrant colors from the blue, the orange, yellow, but they can also be red, green. They actually have 3 layers of tissues within the flatworms. They use that single opening that we've talked about before in their stomach to actually push out waste, as well as to be able to suck in food from their prey. And after their heads are cut off, they can actually still remember things. So now we just have some more examples of the 3 different types of flatworms. So the planarium. So these 3 are the ones that are bilaterally symmetrical, and they would be the same on each side if they were cut in half. And then they're also the ones that have flat, elongated bodies. And then we have the flukes, which are the ones that are like leaves, and they're flabby and flat. So you can see that they also vary in color from green and brown to maybe purple and green to like a light pinkish red color. And then we have tapeworms, which are the ones that can get from foods such as sushi or other uncooked foods. And then they're also the ones that are bilaterally symmetrical and can be cut in half and be the same on each side. And you can get them from digesting food. And then these are all of our resources. And then we have another page of resources. And then thank you for watching. We love flatworms, and we hope you do too.
Hope you learned a little something more.
Frank, the flatworm, says thanks for watching. Thank you.